Today we're learning about the Spike Prime's color sensor. Based on the name, you can tell that this sensor can detect and read color, but it's also able to detect the amounts of reflectivity of an object and the ambient light of the environment. The optimal distance it should be in order to detect an object varies on the size, color, and shape of that object, but usually between 15 and 20 millimeters works well. Just don't have it touching the object or it won't read anything either. To learn about the color sensor today, we're going to be making a simple color sorter that we can program to keep the colors that we want and flick away the ones that we don't. We'll be doing this in both blocks and Python coding, and you can use the video timestamps to jump to the part of the video that you need. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we are in our blocks script, and you'll notice that at the top next to the hub icon, there's a small icon that shows us the color sensor and which port it's connected to. Right now, the color sensor isn't reading anything, so it has the number -1 beneath it. But if we put a blue in front, the number is now 3. And if we were to put something yellow in front, it's now a 7. Different colors are associated with different numbers, and we'll put a color number list in the video description so you can reference back to it. So to make our color sorter, there are a few different blocks that we need, and we'll start by going into the events bubble over here. We're gonna go ahead and grab the one that has the color sensor icon on it, and when we drop it down and click into it, you can see that it has different color options for the parameters to actually start running the program. I'm gonna set it to yellow for right now. We're also gonna jump into the controls bubble and pick up a wait X seconds block, and then jump to motors and pick up just a standard motor block. I'll attach the wait seconds to the bottom right after the events block, and this 1 second is enough. It's just so that we have a little bit more of a lag between when the sensor detects the color yellow and when the motor swings to flick away the block. Finally, the motor block goes at the bottom, and we'll set it to rotate clockwise for, let's say, 120 degrees. But we also need to reset the arm whenever it flicks something away. So I'm going to duplicate this block, add it to the bottom, and have it run counterclockwise instead so that it resets. Now we can just go ahead and upload our program and test it. If we put a red block underneath, nothing happens. And the same thing with blue. But as soon as yellow is detected, it just gets launched right out of here. And there you go, you've gone ahead and made your first simple color sorter. That's great, and if you want more of a challenge, you can duplicate this entire block, and you can change the color parameter for the second one. If you do this and also change the motors by either changing the parameters or bringing in an entirely new block, you can do entirely different things depending on what the sensor reads. You could make a car that starts when it senses black, spins when it senses red, and stops when it senses blue. There are all sorts of really great things that you can do with this sensor, so go out and try some of these. To use the color sensor in the Python script, make sure that color sensor is being imported at the top. It should be by default, but it's a good thing just to make sure. I've also already initialized a motor in port C and the color sensor in port E, though you can use whatever port it is that you want. Now, open up the knowledge base, and you'll see that the color sensor option is near the top. And when you click into it, you get an example of initializing the component, which you can copy and paste. And if you scroll down, you see all the different commands that are available for this sensor. To make our color sorter, I'm actually going to focus on the wait until color event command. And when you click into it, you'll see that there's only one parameter. And that parameter is the color that you want to be your starting condition for your program. The list of viable colors you can use for your parameter is down here. And if you scroll farther down, there's an example, and I'm going to directly copy and paste this straight into my script. And I'm going to switch the parameter from blue to yellow. But again, you can use whatever color that you want. We also want our sorter to be able to sort multiple times though, and not just once. So I'm going to put this command within a while true loop. So it'll basically run until we terminate the program. So now we have our condition, and I'm gonna go back into the knowledge base, scroll all the way down and find single motors, and I'm going to go into the run for degrees command, where our motor will run depending on the degree parameter that we put in. There's an example at the very bottom. I'm just going to copy and paste that into our script. The way my color sorter works, 120 degrees is totally fine, though you can experiment with different values. And something else we also need to do is copy and paste this at the bottom so we can reset our motor after every time that it ends up detecting and flicking away the color that we don't want. We do a negative 120 degrees so that it goes back the same amount that it went forward. And finally, what I'm also going to add in here is a little wait 4 seconds command so that there's a little bit of a time lag between when the sensor detects a color and the motor flicks it out of the way. And there we go. We can close this and upload it to our hub, and now we can test it. If I put a green in front, nothing really happens. But as soon as I put a yellow in front, it just gets launched right out of there. Only yellow gets sorted in this case. And this works totally fine. But if you want a little bit more of a challenge, what you can do is alter this code so other colors also get sorted out, or even better, you can add in a couple of if statements. So depending on what color is sensed, your motors do all sorts of different things, like you have a robot that waves an arm when it senses yellow or throws a ball when it senses red. There's all sorts of neat things you can do with the color sensor. And here's the side-by-side comparison of the blocks coding versus the Python coding that we use today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you learned something in this tutorial. Remember to like the video, and if you want to learn more about Spike Prime, make sure to check out our other tutorials.